Okay, so we are back. I just now finished the good ending of the game, and we are back with the side stories. We are done with Trust Part 1, which ended with Monica finding out that Sayuri has some like a deep emotional trauma or some shit like that. She's depressed and shit like that. We're gonna move on to Trust Part 2. Begin the side story? Yes. Unfortunately, you cannot save in the middle of the side story, so you have to actually go all the way through. You cannot save and load, as you can see. Another day passes in a flash, and it's already time for the next club meeting. We actually got 2 more emails, by the way, and I read those in the good ending at the end of it. I actually read them there. I should have read them here, but I already read them there, so you can just go there and watch it. Although Monica should have come up with a plan for something for today's club task, she hasn't been able to shake her guilt and anxiety after reading Sayuri's poem. I'm so stupid. How did I let myself be the center of attention? Sayuri is going through these kind of feelings. I'm letting her comfort me instead of the other way around. What kind of club president does that? When you've known each other for like 3 days, this whole time, I didn't even ask about her own feelings. So much for the stupid vision. Sayuri enters the classroom with her usual smile. But upon seeing downcast Monica, her smile quickly fades into an expression of concern. Monica? Is everything okay? I'm really sorry. I'm such a terrible friend. Huh? What are you talking about? You're an amazing friend. Monica shakes her head. I made this all about myself. Even you said so yesterday. You told me that I'm trying to make the club that I need the most, right? But my problems are so trivial compared to yours. Sayuri responds quietly. What are you talking about? But as she says that, her face darkens. Although her silence, Sayuri mutters her realization. I left my folder here. Monica stares blankly ahead, unable to come up with a response. I wasn't ready to share those. Now you're worrying about me. I don't want that. But why? We're friends, right? Wordlessly, Sayuri nods. Friends look out for each other. I want to be here. I want to be here for you as much you are here for me. Another long moment passes in silence. The air is incredibly heavy. By the way, I got out of those what is it called? Fucking hell. Out of the emails, I've read those as I said, so you can go watch there. But out of those emails, I got out 2 things as far as I can tell. Within these side stories, there's supposed to be a character with very minimalistic features apparently, but that sounds like our character from like the blood from this main story. But maybe there's going to be a character here that's like very minimalistic, and she was saying maybe because of Monica's activities that character got created. So there's probably going to be a very minimalistic featured character here. If not, they're also talking about how the main game, they're saying VM1, so the main game is different from this. So I'm pretty damn sure the Monica in the main game is separate from the Monica here. So yeah, so I'm sure this Monica is like a recreation of the original Monica from the game. So she should not have all the features that the main one had. So she is just like a game character instead of like the real person type of thing they were going for. But yeah, the air is incredibly heavy. This is different. It wasn't just about you yesterday. It was about the club. Besides, things were so happy yesterday. You don't need to be. You need to do this all of a sudden. I don't want it. I like happy. So if you do this, then you're just being selfish. Monica massages her forehand, struggling through the frustration of such a paradox. It's understandable Sayuri isn't ready to share certain things, but as unfair as it is to Monica to pry, it is also painful for Monica to force herself to ignore the needs of a friend. I'm sorry I looked. I disrespected your privacy. No, I don't blame you for looking. You would have at least needed to check if it was mine. Yeah, Monica takes a deep breath. Okay. Is it hanging, or is it they're just putting pauses here? Because like every single time the sentence ends, it like they hold their in position and don't say anything for some reason. It's either hanging and like fucking lagging and whatnot. But other than that, I'm sure it is supposed to be like that. I understand you don't want me to worry, and I think I'll be able to put this aside so that we can move on. But can you promise something? Promise me what? Promise you what? Monica pauses to collect her thoughts. This is a literature club. It's a place where people can express themselves in the ways that life normally doesn't allow them to. That's the vision. In fact, it's our vision. Right the way into your heart or whatever. So I just want you to promise me that you'll remember that too. It doesn't have to be right now, but I want to be here for you when you need it. I want us to be ourselves like that. Sayuri smiles gently. I'll promise if you promise. Unable to help it, Monica returns Sayuri's smile. I promise. Me too. As the conversation closes, the mood in the room is lifted. With that behind them, it's time to proceed with the club activities. So, wanna teach me about poetry? Huh? But what about recruitment? It's fine, we have plenty of time for that. But right now, I feel like I want to do this. I mean, I do have to fulfill my end of the promise, you know. There's no way I could say no to that. Just don't expect much. I do a lot of writing, but it's not like I'm a scholar or anything. That's fine. I think I just need like some motivation. I never know where to start when it comes to writing poems. Starting isn't so hard. You just need to write down your feelings and see where it takes you. Yeah, but that wouldn't come out any good. It's not supposed to. You're gonna have to fight your perfectionist mind on this one. You can just start by writing your feelings and see what kind of things it makes you think. When you turn your feelings into a little story. You can get your feelings down first, then make it sound pretty later. It's not like building a railroad where you go from one end to the other. It's more like a collage where you find all the things you want to put in, then you arrange them in a pretty way. At least that's how I do it. It's not like it's the only way, but it's a really good way to not get stuck right at the beginning. I understand. Yeah, I always get so caught up in how it sounds that I forget about what's really important. Monica pulls out a pen and paper to start writing on. Stop being a perfectionist, you idiot. I'm just kidding. Monica scribbles out "you idiot" after she writes it down. No, keep it up. Oh, why? Are you calling me an idiot? Of course not. But the point is that you're not supposed to police your feelings, right? But be as dramatic as you want. But I was just... Well, yeah. Underneath the scribble, Monica rewrites "you idiot." She stares at the paper. Her words stare back at her. It's kind of funny how I wrote that when I'm mad at myself for... What? It's kind of funny how I wrote down what I'm mad at myself for, then I did that exact thing anyway, okay? This is really gonna take some getting used to. I believe in you. Thanks, I do too. I mean, of course, also you. Monica continues to exercise jotting down her thoughts. It's surprisingly quite a struggle to write without overthinking it. After a while, with Sari's guidance and encouragement, Monica's sheet of paper begins to look fairly lively, peppered with all her random thoughts. Phew. Monica looks up and down at the sheet. Gosh, I feel so tense looking at this. I hate it, but it's also kind of liberating. I can tell how hard you're trying. It makes me happy. I think you'll be good at writing poems. Don't give me too much credit. I have to try really, really hard at it, but I think it's something that I'll enjoy doing with you. Sari beams. I'll stop here, but we still have time. Let's try to work on a new flyer for the club. I won't be so picky about the luggage. Luggage or language? Yeah, let's do it. Monica and Sari proceed with their work. With each passing day, the two of them become more confident in the club. So this prequel is based on the same game engine, but I believe it's supposed to be a separate thing from the main game. Unless because Monica is now part of the game's matrix, until she deleted herself in the main story. If she's part of this matrix, then I'm guessing she could get back her powers, or like realize that she's not she's a video game character and whatnot. But I'm pretty damn sure there's nothing scary in this, because I read somewhere that it's supposed to be just normal slice of life shit. Two of them become confident in the club, not simply from their recruitment plan, but from their vision as well. As their bond strengthens, so does the essence of the literature club. When they begin to truly feel, it's only a matter of time before they find more members. Is it the end of the part 2? Oh no, there's more. Another day passes. As usual, Monica is the first one to the club. With her is a printout of the revised literature club flyer, complete with all new ideas Monica and Sari came up with. If only this was the flyer we gave to that one reading girl the other day. It's so much more attractive than the old one. But yeah, I'm guessing the reading girl was Yuri, because Yuri is usually, when she's reading, she completely blanks the fuck out. New catchphrase is featured clearly in the center of the flyer. Write the way into your heart. Surely common sense would say that one writes from the heart, not into the heart, but the message being delivered is that one can use writing to discover themselves. Hopefully Monica and Sari had thought that it would have been enough to garner some curiosity from students. Whatever feels so tense looking at it, why? Monica thinks back to the previous meeting when she performed the writing exercise. Was I always this bad at expressing myself? How am I supposed to be the president if I can't even demonstrate what the club is supposed to be about? Literature club is truly beginning to take form. Why is literature club supposed to be about writing stuff? Can it not just be about people reading different books and just like talking about them, instead of like writing poems and novels and whatnot? Fucking hell. It's the literature club. It's not like it's the anime club, right? So you watch anime. It's not like you're making anime. You could be making anime and be a part of the anime club, but that shouldn't be the requirement for it. For some reason, feels like they're supposed to be writing stuff if they're in the literature club. Truly begin to stake firm, but with that, the weight on Monica's shoulder only becomes heavier. Debate club was always about rigid structure, formulating airtight points and counterpoints and delivering them with conviction. It was about the person on the outside. That's why Monica was so good at it, existed entirely within her realm of comfort. It's suffocating. I need to break through this mental wall. I need to learn to express myself for real. Monica pulls out a sheet of paper and grabs a pen. She presses the tip of the pen firmly against the paper, but her hand doesn't move. Instead, a tiny blot of ink collects from the tip of her pen. Why do you have to write that, man? That fucking bring back the feels. And Monica lifts her pen and stares at the little blotch. For some reason, she feels compelled to run a finger across it. As she does so, the black ink smears across the paper, ruining Monica's canvas. Ugh. Out of spite for herself, Monica presses her pen down again, letting the ink collect. She creates a second smear on the paper. Come on, Monica. Just move your hand. And Monica writes, "This is what I get for seeking perfection, a stain." Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Fucking hell, that's a simple poem, but that's pretty good. Monica slides the paper away from her, puts her head down on the desk. The air conditioner seems louder today. The reason why I'm not talking every now and then, because I don't know if it's lagging or what is happening, but we'll see. I'm here. Hi. Monica hears Saori approach her desk, then stops for a second, probably reading the piece of paper. That was such a good piece of paper, though. This is what I get for seeking perfection, a stain. That's so good, dude. Simple and good. See, this poem that she wrote now. Well, I don't know if you can call it a poem. That was so good. And then you can look at Natsuki's fucking poem, and it's also simple, but it's not so good. So the so good part is like missing in Natsuki's poems. That's why I like everyone else's poem besides hers. Then she sits down in the adjacent desk. Bad day? Me too. You too? The new flares look so good. You've been working hard. You've been working so hard on the club, but also something else, I think. I can't do it. I'm sorry. It's so hard just to be vulnerable. Saori takes a sheet of paper from Monica's desk. She writes something down, then stares at it for a while. Can I trust you? Of course. You can trust me with anything. Saori gazes at Monica with sadness in her eyes. Understanding the signal, Monica takes the paper from Saori's desk and reads it. Sometimes I want to die. Fucking hell. Why do you have to always go so fucking brutal with this? Saori, this is really, really hard for me. So this is the thing. She never told us like, Blood about this. Because considering like, she has known Blood for longer than any other one of these girls. But she opened up to them and not to him. That's fucked up, bro. That's fucked up. Her voice shakes. So if I can do it, then you can too. What? Dying? Because you're like a million times better than me. That's completely not true. Saori takes a deep breath, trying to steady herself. That's something about me that I've never been able to tell anyone. Yes, you definitely did not tell anyone. Even now, my head is like screaming at top of me to stop. Wait, you don't have to force yourself. I mean, just because of the promise yesterday, I want to. It just feels right. I mean, maybe this part of the reason I came to this club in the first place. As the literature club, I trust you more than I'm scared. At those words, Monica. So she does not trust Blood. Then that's the case. That's the only reason I can come up with. Until she just doesn't want Blood to be sad at all, so that's why she never opens up to him. That's not a very good relationship. Well, they don't never really. I mean, as a friend relationship. Saori must have taken days to work up the courage for this. Were Monica's own futile but genuine efforts actually the push that Saori needed? Saori's deliberate breaths can be heard over the air conditioners. As she prepares herself to continue, Monica waits in gentle silence. Is Yuri gonna break in and ruin the whole thing? I have this problem where I get really upset when people worry too much about me. I can't control it. Why waste your energy worrying about me when you can just be happy instead? So I never tell anyone about these kind of things, thoughts that I have. It's so much easier to just smile and help everyone else be happy. But that's terrible. That's what Monica wants to say, but she stops herself in fear of saying the wrong thing. It's just that if everyone knew about it, they wouldn't treat me the same anymore. It's like whenever I'm not smiling, everyone would worry about me and ask me what's wrong. I know that because it's it used to be like that. Sorry Pausing seems to recall something in the past. I just want everyone to be happy. That's the most important thing to me. And letting people look inside my head doesn't bring happiness to anyone. Sorry pauses again, her solemn expression making her look almost like an entirely different person. How did you find the courage to tell me this? You're not worried that I'll be one of those people too? I'm worried. Part of me really hates myself for doing this. One other part of me, I think, just feels like it will be different this time. When we talk about what the club is supposed to mean, I kept feeling like it was right for me to do. I think what she needs to talk about is a completely neutral person, like a psychiatrist, because a psychiatrist would not be like, oh man, I'm so worried about you, because obviously it's a random person. A psychiatrist is a random person to you, so they don't need to like feel bad for you. They can just, and considering how many people they deal with like this, they probably be completely neutral out this bit. So if you talk to a psychiatrist, that probably would be the best course of action.